Are we live
Well,
yet? Yay.
you
Hello.
always
Hello.
ask me, it's hilarious. Yes, we're live.
My goodness. Well, thank you for letting me know that. Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Influencers Connection Corner. Today, I would like to lead us with a John Quincy Adams, pretty much an amazing quote. And it states, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. So those are absolutely marks of a true leader. And I'm always inspired to learn more and more about so many leaders around our community, so many leadership that we surround ourselves with in different industries. They don't have to be specifically in yours. I honestly believe that we learn the best from people who are not even in our industries. What do you think about that, Sia?
You know what? It is called expanding your horizon and perspectives.
Mm,
And so, one of the big things, and you know this, I've said this many, many, many times, which
yes.
is find and create your board, your own personal board, and make sure that they're outside your industry, different levels of skill sets, and different perspectives. It could be someone that, is fresh out of college, right? Because
Mhm.
it really helps. It really helps broaden the mind. It's like as if you were traveling, right? If you travel the world, you just see the earth in a much more different way. So
Yes, you
I love
start
it.
seeing life through a global lens, and I always like to coin that. But man, yeah, you're dropping golden nuggets already. Minute number one. Let's go.
What?
I
What?
love that. Well, this if this is any indication of the way of this show is going to be, you will be amazed. Again, we'll be dropping golden nuggets. Our guest of honor today, he's just amazing. I'm super, super, super excited. So let's not wait any further. Let's go dig into the conversation, and let's go ahead and run that intro.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Influencers Connection Corner.
And dance and dance. Hey, hey, and dance. I love that.
Oh my
I
gosh,
love
there's our
it.
head again. That was my fault.
I love that. I love that. But see, I was dancing so that people didn't. We gotta dance. Come on now. You
Yeah,
know
I
this
was
the
well,
ritual.
I was dancing, and that's why I didn't click the button for us to come back on.
Oh yeah. So shout out to Restream really quick. Yeah, you guys are definitely changing some things around for us in media production here. But it's always fun. It's always fun. You never know what you're gonna get this week, right?
Look, people, I will try to make it happen as good as I can. I will clean it up in post production. That's my philosophy with live streams. But
I love it. I love it. I will give you a shout out to everyone out there. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know if you can hear us well. We definitely want you to be able to take sound bites from here, take notes from here. Shout out to everyone who's pulling up. Look, hi, Sarah. Good morning. Hello, brother Chris. I love it. I love it. We get people from all over the world who get to be able to learn about all the different experts out there, all the different individuals who are leaders, inspirational leaders in our community. So, without further ado, guys, I would like to welcome to the Influencers Connection Corner a dear friend of mine and a community leader here in Houston, inspirational leader, Khalil Vinson, founder and CEO of Tech Fest Live. Come on, my friend.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
You got the sound effects and everything, Khalil.
Yeah, no, I feel great now. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking the time on this beautiful Saturday morning to be here with us. And then, like I said, I know that this is your mission. This is what you do day in and day out. Entrepreneurs, as you say, we don't take a break because we got to keep going. So
Yeah,
please let the audience know a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive right in.
yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Influencers Connection Corner. My name is Khalil Vinson. I am the founder and CEO of Tech Fest Live. It's great to be with you all this morning. I see a lot of folks. I see some folks from Houston. I see Toronto in the comments. So I'm glad you all are joined, and it's great to be here this morning. Glad we got a chance to let loose and dance a little bit. So I'm looking forward to sharing about myself and just talking about the ecosystem, talking about technology, talking about tech
Hmm.
education and empowerment. If you
Yeah.
wouldn't mind, I'd like to just give my condolences to Congresswoman Sheila
Yes.
Jackson Lee and her family. for all the work that she's done in the Houston
Mhm.
community. So sad to hear about her passing, but she's left a legacy, and glad to have been able to meet her.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that. Yes, condolences to the family, and but it's one of those inspirational moments, right? That we continue to carry that legacy through our work, through what we do, and how we impact the community. So let the audience know you're from Houston, background here, born and raised in Houston, and why Houston means so much to you.
Yeah, so Houston is important to me for a lot of reasons. I got a chance to I actually moved to Houston when I was a little younger, but I've been here pretty much raised. Went to elementary, middle school, high school, so I am definitely a Houstonian. And yeah, it's just this city is amazing from a few standpoints. One, from a diversity standpoint,
Mhm.
its sheer size. I mean, you all know we drive 30 minutes, which is some people's 15, but it's our 15. Our 30 minutes is our 15. And so it's a lot of opportunity here. A lot of great industries, a lot of emerging industries. The people are great. We have embraced the term Houston strong, and although sometimes we usually say that from a natural disaster or an occurrence, I think that even when those things aren't happening, we all are still very much Houston strong and have that sense of city pride. And it makes for a resilient a resilient group of people here in the city. So I'm proud to be a Houstonian.
Absolutely. And for me, it's really, one of the cities that has changed my life. I've never been in another city besides, being from El Salvador, but it's amazing what Houston can give us back if you know how to culture and cultivate your network, your surroundings, your resources. And we tend to be very resourceful when it comes to, when we have dreams, when we have aspirations. So let the audience know a little bit about how your tech, your journey through tech to college gave birth to Tech Fest Live.
Yeah, sure. Happy to talk about it. So, I went to high school in Cypress. I went to Cypress Ranch High School. I don't know, date myself, I guess, but I graduated in 2013 from Cy Ranch, and I decided to attend Texas State University, where I got my CIS degree, or Computer Information Systems. At first, I really didn't. I wasn't doing any coding classes when I was younger. Honestly, I saw technology as an opportunity to make some good money, and I was like, well, this probably will work for me. And so I decided to do CIS. It was a bit of a struggle. I wasn't the best coder. I really like technology from a business side, like the ERP systems and different things like that. But when it comes to the networking classes and all, I was like, this is a little tough. But I managed, and so I graduated um, from Texas State, and it was great. But while I was there, I got an opportunity to do some really cool stuff. So I put together an event called the Weekend of Welcome Festival. What that event was basically I was trying to get the San Marcos community and the Texas State students in a more cohesive state. As you know, with smaller towns and big universities, as that university continues to grow, it's going to expand out into the city. And so what I was seeing was a rift between the locals and the Texas State community, and the students, because you've been somewhere 30 plus years, your family's been there, but then here you have all these college students running around the town that you grew up in, and there seems to be, there was some type of discord. And so I reached out to my school's assistant to the dean of students, and I just said, hey, I have this idea of putting together this Weekend of Welcome Festival. It was at the time where everyone would come back at the beginning of the school year. So you have your freshmen there, and everyone kind of like does these celebration things. So I was like, it'll be a great opportunity to do something not only for Texas State students, but do something for the local San Marcos community. I learned so many lessons with that, and as Rocky has told me, it's not failing; it was lessons learned in
Yes,
that.
it's not failure. Reframe
Yeah. So
it.
it was some great lessons learned in that, and yeah, that really kind of sparked where we are today with Tech Fest Live. And
Mhm.
so going through that process and then graduating, I kind of looked up and I was like, I don't see an opportunity, or I didn't see an opportunity for a middle school or a high school student to get the same opportunities that someone in college or early career professional or a seasoned seasoned professional gets to go to conferences and seminars and
Mm-hmm.
workshops and different things like that surrounding technology. And
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to create Tech Fest Live because I wanted students to be able to get that opportunity. What is coming down the pipeline in technology? What does the next 10 years look like? What does the next 20 years? What does the now look like for technology? Why should we wait till someone is at the time my age, just graduated college to be able to see these things, to be able to experience these things? And so
I love that you mentioned that, Khalil, that there's really no time, right? And for example, like I know my oldest daughter is watching the show, so shout out to you, baby, love you. And it's a beautiful thing because she gets to be exposed to, hey, mom, like there really is out there. I'm just, I'm only 10 years old, but would they take me serious? I'm like, look. In this world now that we're doing, in this modern world that we're living in, so many possibilities that are there. They're endless, and having people like you, Khalil, to be actually telling you, hey, you can. You don't have to have limitations. No, limiting beliefs. You can do it. You will do it. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. How old are the kids that TechFest Live caters to?
yeah, so we decided to focus on middle school and high school students, starting at the age of 9, going all the way up to really 21 plus. I mean, technology is ageless. There's no doctrine that says, oh, if you're this age or this age, you're at the beginning or the end, that you cannot learn about technology, which is the beauty of it, right? It's you can at any step of life you are. But as far as our company and our organization, we focus on middle school and high school students, generally starting at 9 years old and going up from there.
Yes, I love that. And Sia, I know whenever he started throwing out the acronyms there, the tech acronyms. I was like, okay, here we go, here we go. But it is important, right? I mean, for us to start actually diving into tech because tech is not going anywhere and it's been around forever, right? What do you think about that, Sia? You're a mute,
Yeah,
love.
no, I absolutely. So I think that you know, the concept of tech is not this huge amorphous being wall that people are afraid of, right? It's not a Godzilla, for
Yeah.
example. What technology is literally just like a tool for us to enjoy the society that we currently live in, right? Everyone knows social media. Everyone knows these apps that are available to be able to create content from your phone, for example, right? To have some fun with, robotics or just th- participate in video game creation, for example, right? There are so many
Hmm.
different ways, even and if you like retail, right? Look at all the technology that goes behind, any product that is popular, like makeup brands, etc. Right? You still have to have something to run the business. And that's what technology enables. And so I like to encourage everyone to understand when you're looking at STEAM and STEM opportunities for the age group that Khalil is like focused on, uh, the world is truly limitless. And hyping it up, this is the age group that is still curious. And look, guys, they're not jaded like we are. Right? So
Yes.
that's what
Mhm.
I'm really hyped up and excited for. So, thank you
I
very
love
much,
that.
Khalil, 'cause I just wanna hear more about, you know, how other, folks in the ecosystem are supporting you. And I'm not talking about like we all know the tech companies obviously are great, people that will be there to support you and
Mhm.
help make these events amazing. But you don't just go after the big, tech companies. You go after some of the other ecosystems. So could you share with us a little bit how you've approached it for people that may not be part of what you think of traditionally STEM, but like the A or yeah, the arts part of it, for example?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'll touch on all of that. But I'll start with this. So for TechFest Live, it's easy. It's easy to identify someone in tech and kind of make an assumption that if I tell you that I'm in technology, you're gonna probably say, "Oh, must be a coder or an engineer." Foundational pieces to the world of technology, but that is not the end all be all. And I think the first step in getting young students, our youth, involved and exposed to the world of technology is breaking down that barrier or that mindset that I can't be in tech if I don't code or if I don't decide to be an engineer. And so at TechFest Live, what I set out to do was okay, we will have those components of coding and engineering, but what we're going to focus on is industry. Sia made a great point. She talked about retail. She talked about other agriculture, aviation. So these are some of the areas that we focus on, which are agriculture, aviation, sports, gaming, healthcare, energy, transportation. We want to get into music. Yeah. So like I could go on forever because every industry that is here now that will be here in the next 2 years, 5 years, and 30 years all will have, well, technology will play a part in that industry. And so it's important
Mhm.
for us to realize, what does that really mean? That means that there's endless amounts of jobs in the tech field. You don't have to disregard your passion. You don't have to, you know, if I really like music, I don't necessarily have to be an entertainer or a singer. I can be a music engineer.
Mm.
If I really, you know, I went to high school with kids who were in FFA at the time. It was very much, I guess, traditional. But now, if I really have a passion for farming, well, I can go work for a John Deere or other companies that are out there, and I can go fly drones and survey land. Or I don't have to be a doctor. I can be in medical tech. I can do medical sales. So it's really flipping the mindset to realize that technology is everywhere, and how do you apply your passion fueled with technology to achieve the things
Mhm.
that you want to get out of life. You
Mhm.
had some other questions in there and I got on a roll, so tell me.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I just want to give a shout out to John Deere. So, one of the things that people don't think about is every major corporation, any Fortune 500 company has an innovation lab. And oftentimes, those are the thinkers, those are the tinkers, those are the people that are like thinking, not today, not what we have to do every 90 days if you're a publicly traded company, what's going to sell product and bring in money, but the 5-year, 10-year vision. And
Mhm.
guys, there are so many ways that you can still participate. Me, for example, I was in sales. I have a degree in history, okay? But you can actually still be part of the world, if you will, from a technology perspective, and still be part of the tech world. And that's what's exciting. So what I was asking you is, when you have, as you have grown, right,
Mhm.
reaching out to these other corporate partners, right? That's outside the ecosystem. Like, have you um, found it easier a sell, if you will, to get these guys on board, to sponsor you guys, to support you, to collaborate? You know, what was your approach? And that was like the other question is like outside
Yeah.
the ecosystem of tech.
Yeah, I'm still in that right now, so I would say it's going well, but there's still more to do. Our goal is to bridge different lanes and opportunities for these students. And so that's the main piece. But I think it's going well. There is support out there, but there always could be more. It's just about having the right conversation with the right folks. And then, as Rocky was saying earlier, like I don't always go to technology centered networking events. I try to go to and talk to people in different lanes. That way, that I can, one, broaden my network, but also create the link to those folks who might not see the technology ecosystem, right? They're not thinking in
Mhm.
that way. So there's definitely support, and I'm looking forward to seeing us continue to receive that support from all different industries. So yeah, thank you for that question.
No, and I love that, because it is a continuous thing. It is a continuous journey where, it's an everyday thing that we're there supporting the youth. And for me, that's very important. Funny that enough that you were talking about these pretty much intersections of different industries, but still
Mhm.
can be tech. For example, I was having a conversation, and shout out to Rich from Kids Camp. Yeah, we met this week actually in person. They were running a camp here from MD Anderson. So anyways, shout out to you. What I was saying is he brought up the term medical engineer, and I was like, what is that? What is a medical engineer? And he explained it to my daughter, and he's like, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to specifically just be an engineer. You can have a way to merge both. And this is a beautiful thing for kids out there to know that yes, you can actually live out your passion, whatever you love. And if there is not one there, then you create that path, whatever career that may be, or position. Kids are so imaginative. So I love that. So speaking on that, I was remembering, going back to November of last year when I
Mhm.
had the pleasure and opportunity. Thank you for the invitation again to be present at TechFest Live. And it was just very inspirational to see all sorts of kids from different, neighborhoods around Houston. But what drove you to do that? And I'm gonna give my little spiel afterwards. But
Mhm.
for you, how did that make you feel?
It was inspiring to see them inspired. Um, as as an African American male, growing up in society as I have, it's important that I see myself in others, and I'm realizing that what I'm doing is a human thing. Um, it truly does come down to a human aspect, and how can we get our youth, because like it or not, and these kids are our next leaders. They're our next business folks. They're our next everything. And so, if we want a strong workforce, if we want servant leaders, if we want intelligent, smart, and educated, and disciplined, and great character, we have to start building that now. It doesn't just stop at the home, right, with their parents, but what other activities, what other things can they get involved in that are at a minimal cost, which the Tech Fest Expo that we host is free. What are other things that I can do to give them that opportunity? Because I wish I had a Tech Fest Live when I was growing up. I just wasn't exposed, and it's not anyone's fault. At the time, technology has been around for a long time, but I just wasn't exposed like that. Maybe because I didn't have at the time I didn't have a passion for it, but I didn't that wasn't in my daily routine or life, or my friends weren't talking about that. And so what I want to get across to students is there's this stigma, and I'm sure all of you on here have kind of heard it or been around it, of being a nerd, right? What does that really mean? Especially when we're talking about kids, um, going through middle school, going through high school. There's the bullying, there's all that stuff, and I think the term nerd has a very I don't the thought around the name is interesting, because nowadays the nerds are the smart ones, right? They're in the right rooms,
Mm-hmm.
they're well connected, and so for me, it's really about changing that word nerd to be. It's really about, like, I identify as a cool nerd, right? And a nerd is not someone. It's a stereotypical what you might see in movies or whatever. It's someone who is smart, they're educated, they're funny, they have charisma, and so I just want to change the narrative around being a nerd and what does it mean to be smart and educated. And it's okay to like science and like technology and engineering and arts and math. Like, that's perfectly fine. You're actually going to do well in life if those things inspire you. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, I'm just I my biggest takeaway from the event and what we're doing is seeing those kids get inspired and knowing that just one opportunity can change their thought process. My goal is when your student or any student comes to the Tech Fest Expo, that they get inspired and they take something away, and then they go home and then they go on YouTube and they go on these different channels and they research for themselves because they saw something in sports tech that they didn't know, or they listened to someone. You were a speaker, like maybe they heard something that you said, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know," and then they identify with you as a Hispanic female, like, "Oh, she looks like me, she talks like me, and she's doing something I didn't know." Now they're going to go and tell their parents, "Hey, I saw this," and now that is where we are in our mission is the exposure to what's going on in their backyard in regards to technology.
I oh my gosh, I love that so much to unpack in what you said there, but the main theme that comes across is relatability. It's being able to be that person, or that I wish I had for
Mhm.
me back then, to be able to give back to them. Because like you said, sometimes we don't see ourselves reflected out in the audience, and whenever you come across someone, and if it inspires them to do or to go after whatever it is that they want to go after, then for you it's validating, right?
Mhm.
And to coin the term nerd, I think nerds are cool. I call myself undercover nerd sometimes because yes, I have the charisma. We're able to network. We can talk to anyone. I talk to walls, for God's sake. But the idea is, we still have our preparation, our scholastic career that really defines us.
Mhm.
But for you, and it's a beautiful thing that you're seeing this evolving that word and reframing it. I keep going back to that word reframing, but it's so important for us to start incentivizing individuals and the youth to reframe some of those terms that have been coined as in negative light.
Mhm.
So that is just so amazing. But I want the audience to know a little bit more about what's coming up. Well, actually, what's going on for you now, and then what's coming up.
Yeah, so I will, if you don't mind, I want to real quick just talk about the pillars of our programming for everyone
Yes.
who's not familiar with TechFest Live, and then I'll talk about where we are and what's coming up in the future. So, TechFest Live, we're a nonprofit ed tech organization. Of course, we're based here in Houston. We have 4 pillars to our programming. The first of what we've kind of been talking about, the event that Raquel was a part of last year, was our annual TechFest Expo. I started the TechFest Expo in 2020. During the pandemic, my goal was actually to do this in person at Discovery Green. So we'll have to revisit that at some point in this journey. But my goal was to do it at Discovery Green in 2020. And of course, as you all know, a global pandemic hit. As an entrepreneur, just starting out, I was like, oh, wow. So the first time I decide to step my foot out on this entrepreneurial journey, a global pandemic happens. What do I do? How do I pivot? I'm freaking out. I'm not doing this at Discovery Green anymore. Luckily, I had some advisors and some folks that I could call on and talk to, and they said, "Hey, just do it online, do it virtually." Perfect. So I was on a platform that allowed us to do these virtual kind of what we're doing now, like your Zooms or things like that. So we had 60 students be a part of that first year event. They all came from the Boys and Girls Club, which I'm a member or was a member of the Boys and Girls Club growing up, Youth of the Year award winner and doing all that great stuff. And so 2020, we had 60 students be a part. Again, global pandemic is still here in 2021, but we increased to 90 students. Once that pandemic was lifted, and I know things are still, we're still getting all that together still, but once that was lifted, we hosted our first in-person event, our 3rd annual TechFest Expo at the Ion. I'm sure you all may or may not be familiar with the Ion, but it's a place here in Houston, close to downtown. The goal of it is supposed to be an incubator for technology for the city. And so we were able and fortunate to host our first in-person event there, and we increased to 400 students. We had companies like Exxon, NASA. We had the Microsoft Teals program. I see the Texas A&M banner back there. We had their robotics club a part of that event. It was a great first in-person event. The community really embraced me. Everyone just kind of embraced what I was doing, and that really set the fire to what I knew was possible. Last year, we hosted our 4th annual TechFest Expo at Post Houston. We had about 1,100 students be a part of that. Sponsors like JP Morgan, Microsoft. We had, again, folks from NASA. We had speaker panels. We had startup and existing tech companies. We had aerospace. We had sports. Like it was just a culmination of everything that is here in Houston from an industry standpoint. And so now we're gearing up for our 5th annual expo, Friday, November 8th at the University of Houston Tech Bridge campus. That is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is a free event. The way that we get our students is we actually don't go, reach out to the parents, although we do reach out to them, but to get them physically to the expo, we actually go directly to the school district. So they treat this as a field trip. So on November 8th, we'll have a busload of kids. Our estimated attendance is about 2,500 students. We'll be bussed out to TechFest Expo at Tech Bridge for another great year of excitement, learning, and technology. So I would love to stop there, but I realized that probably about 2 years in, I'm not building a company. As you all know, for-profit, nonprofit, the only difference really is a tax code. And so I still have to build out and create a company. Although we're doing great work in the community, TechFest Live is a company and we operate just like other companies. And so I realized that the impact that I was doing for a one-day STEM expo was great. People loved it. But from a business standpoint, my supporters and donors and sponsors need to see more, right? They want to see how far can those dollars stretch? how can we really, where's our impact going based on our dollar, right? So I realized I need to create some other pillars. So from there, I created 3 other pillars. The second pillar of our program is called For the Youth, just to play on words. If you play golf, it's FORE. And so we've partnered with a Korean golf company called Smart Golf. They've created an AI-powered golf wand that teaches anyone really how to golf virtually through an iOS or Android-based app. We take that technology and we bring it directly to school districts. So imagine if a school in the underrepresented community does not have access to green space, they don't have access to the golfing equipment. We come in and we provide that technology to them so that they can use it as a PE credit, they can take it home, and they can practice on the game of golf. Golf breeds discipline, character building, integrity. Because it's a solo sport, it really is a great way to empower students and get some of those character building development that they need. We're gearing up for our second annual For the Youth golf tournament. It's Thursday, September 12th at Black Horse in Cyprus. So please join that.
Check it out, guys. Check it out.
We'd love for you. You can go to fortheyouth.org to visit the website and learn a little bit more about that. The third pillar of our programming is called Tech Fest Mobile. So I recently applied for the Houston Equity Fund grant. And basically what that grant says is that once we receive the funds, we have to purchase an asset. And so the asset that we've chosen to purchase is the mobile gaming technology trailer, which will turn into a full technology trailer. And the goal of that is to equip it with a podcast studio, Apple Vision Pros, MetaQuest, laptops, iPads, the golfing technology. And we'll drive that trailer around Greater Houston, ISDs, charter schools, private schools, and corporations. And we'll use that as a technology on wheels vehicle to be able to continue our annual impact around youth and young adults. The fourth pillar to our programming is called Tech Fest Community. What Tech Fest Community is and what I sought it out to be, which is it is now turning into that, is a way for us to partner with other community organizations. So all of you in the chat and who are tuned in to this LinkedIn Live, we want to partner with you. We want to work with you. We want to host workshops. We want to collaborate on different events. And so that is what Tech Fest Community allows us to do. We actually have signed in a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. As I mentioned, I was a Boys and Girls Club kid. So full circle, I was able to actually come back and work with the Boys and Girls Club. But we're almost done with our 8-week summer program. And we're doing a model rocket competition. And then the last thing about Tech Fest Community, sorry, I know I'm going on a long spiel, but
it's all good. This is your time.
I want you all to hear about the work we're doing. So the last thing about Tech Fest Community, again, we're looking to partner with other organizations, and it just gives us an opportunity to do different things outside of our traditional expo, the golf stuff, and what we're doing with mobile. I recently went to CES. I went to CES for the first the Consumer Electronics Showcase, for those who are not familiar with CES, up in Vegas. It's the world's largest technology conference. It's great. I highly advise you to check it out. I went for the first time in 2020 and then just went back this year. And I was fortunate enough to get in a room with a lot of powerful people. And from that, I came back with an EPA agreement with the NSA. And so we have a 5-year agreement with the National Security Agency, and we get an opportunity to work with them. So that brings me to what's the future for Tech Fest Live. My goal is to expand, scale, city to city, state to state, country to country, for a global vision of bringing technology education to students around the world who need it most. Some of the things that we have prepared for next year, specifically around Q1, we're going to be doing a hackathon with the NSA. So we're putting that together, and we're looking forward to bringing that to the city of Houston. Of course, we're going to have our expo again next year. So we're looking forward to the 2025 Tech Fest Expo, and just really finding new partners, new opportunities to continue to expand. So that is Tech Fest Live.
Are you sure there's no more? Because
I
oh my God, no, there's so much more though.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you really paid attention to everything that Khalil just mentioned about the awesomeness of Tech Fest Live and just everything that he's working on, the dream, the inspiration, everything, because it is massive. It is a massive vision. It's within reach. But so if you definitely want to be part of this amazing movement, to give back to our youth, because our youth is our future, guys. All right. We got to think about that. Please scan that QR code, reach out to Khalil. You can connect with him via LinkedIn, would you say?
Yeah, please connect with me via LinkedIn. I'm not sure, Sia, if you're controlling the chat. I don't know if I can chat, but Khalil at techfestlive.com. That's Khalil, Khalil, at techfestlive.com. Please email me, and I'll be happy to schedule some time to talk with you about what you have going on and how we both can add value to each other's organizations.
Yes, and again, as Sia always says, all boats rise with the tide. And I've been seeing Chris in the chat and talking about he's an auctioneer, and this is a way of us being able to give back to the community too through our talents, through what we do. And yours truly here, also auctioneer, so we'll be able to help and collaborate and further give the vision of TechFest Live the grandness that it needs, that it should do, because it's global. And I've had this conversation with Cia so many different times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like tech is really, really important, and people don't understand how important it is. Those late adopters, and it's much more than that. Tech can be heart center, and but many people don't look at it that way. So for you, what's been Cia, and I'm gonna go to Cia really quick because I know we've had this conversation, and then we'll go back to you. For you, how is heart in tech? How is it infused in tech? And I know it may be like, yeah, Raquel, you putting me on the spot now. I love to do that.
Are you talking to me or talking to
Yes,
Caleb?
to you, to
Oh,
Cia. There's
oh,
only one
girl.
Cia.
Okay. So, look, again, I want to try to encourage everyone to get away from this misconception that technology is some kind of amorphous, robotic. It's going to be some kind of like Skynet type situation. You have absolutely mission and purpose and goal for anything, right? To build a better community, to grow stronger, more cohesive society. Technology is just a tool to enable and ensure that we remain human, that we maintain our humanity. But now we can do it at a global level because now we have accessibility to information and messaging, etc. So, how do we keep the heart, if you will, in technology? Is remember your humanity and who you are. Tech is just a tool to enable us to do and achieve things, whatever certain goal, whatever it is. So I think Chris Malazewski was talking about tech in, nonprofit organizations, right? Like, do not mistake it, you guys. There is priorities that we have to take care of us as humans, right? And again, as long as we maintain the fact that this is for the purpose of us as to maintain this, to have emotions, that's what you got to remember, right? You're not building robots for the sake of building robots per se. Okay. I mean, I'm just using that as an example. It's probably overkill, but yeah, I mean, when you're coding, right? When you think about all the algorithms that, and, for like social media platforms, right? The algorithm is only as good as the coder that had created it. People talk about AI, for example, right? AI is just, really sophisticated machine learning in a way that we have developed ways that you can take in more data, extrapolate it, and kind of pull it all together quicker, faster,
Quick.
whatever. What I'm
Yes.
saying is this: AI at its heart, like core of it all, is a program. And who programs? Humans. So whatever AI people are fearful of or they talk about it, look, it is a marketing term that has a lot of great use cases. So how do we keep a heart centered, in tech? Is to understand at the heart of all things is a human.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was the key component that I wanted to deliver to the audience from you, because it is, at the end of the day, it is human. And I know in our conversations that I had with Khalil in the past, he mentioned on his unconventional route, right, of going nonprofit as opposed to going through the corporate career first and then building a nonprofit. But that is the one thing. How has it personally changed you to be doing things unconventionally?
It I'm on a journey, right? And I have to realize that everyone has their own individual journey that God has given them, and I'm continuing and slowly, more and more every day, embracing what that is. Because again, like we talked about, I feel, and again, humans, feelings, right? We got to keep that intact. I do feel that it's unconventional. I graduated with a CIS degree, but I never broke into big tech per se. And so I always felt like a rebel, kind of like, here I am, this great CIS degree, but I don't have a Microsoft or a Dell or any of these big tech companies on my resume. But now standing here today, what I do have is them as partners of mine. I was fortunate to win the Partnership Excellence Award for Blacks at Microsoft Houston. They've given me money, they've sponsored, they've come to my events. And so I've almost flipped it a whole 180, right? Instead of going to work for them, now I work with them, which is it's beautiful in my mind to be able to see that through. But yeah, it just felt unconventional. And like you share with me, Raquel, it's your own journey, and there's no right or wrong. There's no perfect way to do anything. And so this is the way that I decided to do it. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it's still okay. And we'll figure out what to do next. But so far, it's been working, and I look forward to continuing to see my unconventional way make some impact in the world.
You see how you're reframing? Oh my God, I love it. I love it. He's a good student, y'all. Not just kidding. But no, it is true that we really, really need to be able to believe in those unconventional ways, because we've been so beat down with the whole, this is the path, right? This is the timeline. This is the path. You go to college, you do this, and then you get a degree, and then you get a job, and you get a 9 to 5. But that's not usually some, the path. I've known individuals who have been successful in the tech career who did not go to college, and you're like, how is that? And they know even more than other people who've had countless degrees. So my point is that sometimes we tell the youth, oh, this is the only way to get to that. And when in reality, it's not true. There are other creative ways that kids actually have so many creative ideas. But as parents, sometimes because we don't understand that world, we shut those ideas down. So what TechFest Live does is really nurture and cultivate and really brings in an ecosystem, right? Where they can think for themselves, they can be explorative in their creativity. And for me, that's just one of the selling points of Texas Life, because I love creativity. I'm all about authenticity. I'm all about not fitting the mold, not being a template. And I love, 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 Khalil, that you transmit that through TechFest Live. So it just, having said that, what are you looking? No. What are you working on right now? That's what we didn't ask you. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, right now, today, yesterday, and tomorrow, I am gearing up for the 5th annual TechFest Expo at the University of Houston Tech Bridge campus for about 2,500 middle school and high school students. I am actively looking for 100 plus vendors to be a part of our event, whether you're in agriculture, aviation, sports, gaming, healthcare, music, etc. Would love for you to come out and be a part of that event. I'm looking for community organizations, nonprofits, for-profits. You might do health and wellness. You might do X, Y, and Z. Would love for you to join us. We also on a hunt for sponsors, right? Currently, we have 2 gold sponsors, Citgo and UL Research Institute. Shout out to those 2 companies for joining us on this journey. Also to our bronze sponsor, Comcast, Microsoft last year, Comcast coming on and being a bronze sponsor of us this year. So we look forward to inviting more sponsors to be a part of the TechFest Expo. It's a great opportunity for them not only to share what they're doing in their own world and lanes in the world of technology, but it's also to give back to the students that are here in their community that eventually will adopt their brand awareness and will want to be like those leaders that come and speak to the kids. So please reach out to me about being a part of the TechFest Expo. I should also mention that we are gearing up for our golf tournament. So if I have any golfers out there, whether you cannot golf, I won't tell on myself if I can or can't. You'll just have to see for yourself, but don't expect anything crazy.
Yeah.
September 12th at Black Horse, we're hosting our 2nd annual for the youth golf tournament. And outside of that, I'm just trying to stay creative, new ideas, new partnerships, and enjoy the journey. I was talking to someone yesterday at the Ion, and I realized, and this is for everyone, regardless of what field you're in, we all have a goal and a mission to expand, to grow in our careers. Where you are currently, you won't get the past back, right? So using myself, I am not my busiest right now. Although I might feel busy in the moment, TechFest Live in 5 years was going to make me even more busy. So I want to enjoy where I'm at right now, because where I'm headed, I won't get these moments back of, quietness or solitude when we're growing, right? And for everyone, enjoy the moment. I'm saying that to myself as I'm saying it to you. Like, enjoy the moment, embrace where you are right now. And when you're looking at your progress, look at it. Don't try to look at it from this like long 5-year, 10-year vision. Oh, I want to be here, but I'm not. Last year, when we were raising money for the expo, I didn't have a single dollar in the TechFest Live account this time last year, and the event was in November. So about 3-4 months, right? Now we have already raised pretty much more than we had last year at this current moment. That's progress, right? And so
That is progress.
although we haven't hit the number that I want to hit for this year, we still have doing better. I'm still doing better than I did last year. So if I can find, excitement and joy in that, I can still work towards my next goals. But I can't like be so hard on myself that I'm not reaching these maybe crazy goals that I set for myself. So just wanted to give y'all some words of encouragement, because I definitely am feeding off this energy there in the chat. You all are amazing. I want to comment, but I'm also trying to like stay focused and talk to you all. But I see a lot of great messaging. I see people talking with each other and talking about technology. And so it's great to see you all join us. I appreciate the support of Raquel and Sia as well. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to everyone that has joined. I really appreciate the feedback I'm seeing.
Oh, I love that. Yes, we definitely have to acknowledge the audience. The audience really makes this for me, just like your passion, right? It wakes you up every morning. You're like, gotta continue in the grind, gotta continue in that hustle. The audience and some of the folks that I've met through LinkedIn, shout out LinkedIn, are amazing, and they fuel me every single day. For me, that is, that is important for you to highlight what Tech Fest Live, how it can change lives and how it has started to change lives. I was inspired, and that's why I chose to join the movement. So if you want to share with them that I am technically already, along with my friend and brother Adrian Leal. Shout out to you from Capo Joey. We love you. I know you're driving, so he couldn't join us today. But so we are what considered now what officially.
Yeah, so TechFest Live, it's important for us to have supporters and advocates out in the community that see our vision, that understand the mission and understand why we're doing it, right? Purpose. What's your purpose in life, and where does that take you? How does that drive you? And so we're excited to have TechFest Live ambassadors that we can empower and have conversations with. And when we're not in certain rooms, when we're away, or if we are in the same room, I can be over here talking to a group, and Raquel can be over here talking to a group, or she can be in places that haven't been to yet, and she can be an ambassador to the mission of TechFest Live. We are connecting the youth of today to a better tomorrow through technology opportunity. We accelerate learning outside of the classroom, and it's an honor to have Raquel as an ambassador for not only attaching herself to the mission, but for what she stands for personally, right? She has her own thing going. She has a lot of things going, actually. And so being able to be in these different spaces that she's in and kind of wearing that TechFest Live brand, knowing that, in the back of her mind, she is thinking about TechFest Live, and we appreciate that. I appreciate that, because it really means a lot for people to not just support you with, congratulations are great and likes on LinkedIn are great, but when you take it to that next step forward, and you speak about people when they're not in the room, and you champion for them from as a millennial and stepping into this corporate world and all this stuff, it means a lot to have folks who have been there before, who understand what it's like, understand the pressures, and want to be an ambassador for something that you created. So thank you for coming on and being an ambassador of TechFest Live. We got to get you a t-shirt, So that'll have to come soon. But
It
maybe,
just became official though, so it's okay. My
yeah,
t-shirt
yeah,
should
yeah,
arrive, right?
for sure.
Man, like I said, it's an honor. Thank you so much for also, allowing me to be in that space, because it's a way for me to be able to give back as well to the youth, and for me being able to mentor kids, being that person again that I wish I had back in the day when I was growing up. It's important for me, and that is a way of giving back as much as I can. And talking about inspiration, talking about giving back, I want to ask you this last question. I know we're going to run out of time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we could go for days. But what advice would you give your like young individuals who aspire to make a change and a difference within their communities through technology, though? Right. So it's specific. What advice would you give them?
The
Mm,
advice I would give them is stay creative and stay tapped into your culture, whatever culture that might be. Sia brought up a great point about the heart and how we can't allow the outside noise of what people perceive technology to be at the forefront. At the forefront of everything that we do in society is the human aspect, right? So for these students, stay true to your creativity, stay true to your culture, because that is where ideas are birthed. For me, I stayed true to my creative thought process and the things that I like to surround myself with, whether that be playing sports or hanging out with friends or whatever that was. I continue to try to do things that are in that space for me personally, and that's going to look different for every student. So there's no cookie cutter way to be attached to your own personal culture or identity, but you can live in your creative space. And some of the best inventions of the world have come from people's creative space. And so if you allow your creativity to allow the tool of technology to fuel your creativeness, we're going to be just fine. I don't have any worries for the future because these kids are smart and they're creative and they're coming up with new ways to do things. They're sharing information a lot more with each other. There's an opportunity to go and get information at a very rapid and fast pace. So there are a few things that we have to, kind of shape them into like, hey, you're going off but creativity and culture is what I would say to inspire them. Like, stay true to that. And if you can stay true to that, the world is endless and the possibilities are endless for you, and you'll be just fine.
I love that. Creativity and culture. I'm all about that, right? Because all of that leads to connection. At the end of the day, if we lack connection, then, what are we even doing? So, have you, and this is a really, I was thinking as we were talking, even though, we are in a fast paced, technological, advanced world where virtual and remote work has come to the forefront, we still it's wonderful to see how technology is uniting certain communities perhaps that wouldn't have in the past. And so for me, that's always an eye-opening experience to really realize that we are connected. At the end of the day, one way or another, we're connected, and to be able to explore and collaborate with our creativity and talent, it's just, again, mind-blowing. But one last question:
Mhm.
when you look back at your legacy, when you're in your 20 years down the road, let's say, when you look back at your work with TechFest Live, what is your hope the legacy would be?
I'm pausing because I want to really.
He's letting it marinate, y'all. It's all good. It's all good.
Um, Man, legacy. So that's a deep question.
It
I thought
is.
about it, but like I didn't think you're gonna ask me that. I wanna leave a legacy of empowerment. I want to leave a legacy of being a champion for my community, for Black and Brown students, but for students all over the world. I want to show them that things are possible. I want to show them that this traditional way of what society says you have to do and the way you have to do it is not true. But what you do have to do is you have to work hard. You have to connect with the right folks. You have to be passionate. You have to be disciplined. It takes all of those things. And I don't know. I want students to be inspired. I want them to see themselves I want them to stand tall. You know, keep their head up in these rooms. I don't want them to be intimidated by other people. I want them to, um, see themselves possible to be in these rooms that you might not think you could be in. And I've felt that, like, you almost, is it imposter syndrome? Is that the thing? Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, am I supposed to be? Yeah, like there's no doubt that you're supposed to be in these rooms. You're doing the work. You've earned it, and embrace that. Yeah, I mean, legacy is a big thing. Like it comes from so much. Not even just what I'm building with Tech Fest Live, but the legacy I want to leave as a man in this world. Right? What does that look like? Eventually, as a son and a brother and all the as a cousin. Like I just want, I want family, friends, and associates and colleagues to see me as someone that was inspiring to the world. That's a big thing, but I tend to be someone with big vision. So I guess that's where we are. But I appreciate you asking me that. I probably could have a bunch of different answers, but we'll
No, I wanted to make sure, like, I asked you that question, like, what did you want to leave? And you were like, well, I've never really thought about that. And I was like, well, these are the things that you really start thinking about as you go through your journey, because it drives you and it fuels your passion. And I know you mentioned imposter syndrome. I saw Cia's face. She's like, oh, here we go. She has a lot to say about that, but it is true, right? There are so many places in society where we can feel inadequate, or we feel like we're not really supposed to be there. But what is one thing you always tell me, Cia? And she always has to remind me. She's like, Raquel, we've been through this. You want to share with us?
You put me on the spot on that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you always tell me, yeah, you belong there. I mean, what are you talking about? That's what you tell me. This
Yeah.
exactly like your words. And even it just snaps me out of it. We all go through it. We all are going to face imposter syndrome. And you see her face, she's like, oh gosh, here we go again with this one. Yes.
Look, I think with what you're doing, Khalil, and it's so just inspiring, is the fact that don't diminish the value of one voice. You are that one person. And if you can spark inspiration, curiosity, motivation for these kids to be the next big thing, right? The next Elon, the next
Mhm,
Einstein,
mhm.
you could literally change the world with that one spark of idea to get that person down their journey to look at the world in a different place. And you are so right. And something we haven't discussed is that there are underserved communities that have never even experienced the idea that they could make an impact in the world with that one thought. And it could be, I'm a big fan of esports, right? And gaming. And, you know, the whole term nerds, and if I can bring it back to the idea that, you know, there's this negative connotation with nerds. You guys, I don't know if you are dating yourself. Khalil, you look a little bit younger than us, quite a bit younger than us. But I will say this: nerds, I think, in the Gen X definition of it, is like, the glasses and the pens and all that stuff. If you're talking about the Gen Alphas, the Gen Zs, this crew, that's actually part of their preppy core look and feel and vibe. And nerd doesn't really quite exist anymore because
Mhm.
by virtue of them embracing technology, because they are technology native, they
Mhm.
don't understand what nerd means. It's us that's putting that definition on. It's
That's
us
true.
that's putting that negative connotation of somehow they're lesser than because they're intellectually stimulated versus physically stimulated, which again, each has their own merits. There's nothing to diminish one or the other.
Mhm.
So I love what you're doing because you're making it normalize. You're making it available for kids that cannot maybe traditionally have access to this type of technology. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. Your legacy is you gave a damn. You give a damn. And I think that is like the hugest thing. And you know what? No one is expecting perfection from people like you who are movers and shakers in this world. How can you possibly expect you to be perfect to roll this out? So I roll my eyes because anyone that judges you because you're taking the time out of your own life to create a better life for our future, they're a-holes then. And I'll say it. If you judge someone that's trying to make a world a different place and it's not, quote, perfect in its execution, then they're the ones that are not changing. They're the ones that are not, they're the ones that are the stumbling blocks, right? So true serum for people listening who don't want to embrace technology, who don't want to support you. And yeah, maybe your events may not be perfectly like orchestrated. Who gives a damn? No one's going to notice 99% of the time anyway. So
That's a Sia rant right there. You just witnessed it. I love it. So yes, it's hashtag Sia rant.
that
But
was, yeah, that was,
yeah,
No,
but it
that was sorry. That was I appreciate that. Because sometimes I can't always say certain say certain things, but you said some things that in the past, like yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
yes. So see, we like to be advocates and speaking for other people too, because it needs to be heard. This needs to be out there. We're all at the end of the day about authenticity, and we are unconventional selves. So we
Definitely.
will say what we got to say. But having said that, my friend, I appreciate you. You are so awesome. One last time, how can people reach out to you? Can they find you, and how can they, help out with TechFest Live?
Yeah, the best way to find me if you want to get involved and add value to what TechFest Live is bringing to the Houston community and abroad, you can reach me at my email address at Khalil, Khalil,
Yeah.
at techfestlive.com. You can also go to our website. We are currently accepting donations and sponsorships for our upcoming expo as well as for our annual programming. So if you scan that QR code, go to the TechFest Live website, check out some of the things that we're doing, making updates every day to that website and continue to add more of our programming. But again, you can donate, you can support, you can volunteer, you can be a vendor, you can tell friends, families, and you can join us Friday, November 8th at the University of Houston Tech Bridge from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the 5th Annual Tech Fest Expo. This is a free event to all of you. We're not charging. We have never charged for this event. We just want students to get that opportunity to be a part of what we're doing, what we're building. And this is for you all. This is for the Houston community. So if I want to empower you all real quick. If you have companies and organizations and you maybe you do education classes for students on the weekends, whatever it is, come get a booth at the expo. My goal is to my goal is to showcase you all. What are you doing in the Houston community, right? It's not all about TechFest Live. Yes, we're the brand that's putting it on, we're the organization that's doing this, but 2,500 students, 100 plus vendors, professionals, sponsors, like you come here so that now you can go get 20 new kids to go to your summer program, or you can go find your next industry partner. That's my goal for you all as from the business side. We've talked a lot about the education and what we're doing for youth, but also for my business folks. This is a great place for you to network, great place for you to find new opportunities, for you to find new students to be a part of the things that you're doing. So it's something for all. It's going to be a great time with the community. Love to see a lot of the folks that I see on the chat there, and those that I don't know would love for you to be there as well. So yeah, go to techfestlive.com.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. And y'all will see me posting and supporting TechFest Live moving forward, just so that you can stay in the loop with all the goodness that is happening in the community for our youth. But with that said, my friend, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know we went a little bit, but it's just everything is so important that you just said, and I hope the audience was taking notes and the youth is inspired, or they share it with their kids, their cousins, their nephews, whoever. Just share it around in the community and the world that this is barely the beginning, and the impact is global. So I'm super excited. I'm so excited. Sia, is there anything you'd like to say goodbye?
no, yeah, no, I really appreciate Khalil, you are so inspiring, and it is tough doing what you're doing because
Mm.
it's not easy. And for you to take the not easy path again is so admirable. It is, I don't think you understand your influence, and continue the ride, my friend. People like Raquel and myself will be your biggest groupies. And thank you so much for joining us. And you know who else would be a great big groupie is Tausi Brands. So
Yes.
want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Tausi, Janice Shokrian. She's amazing. So if you guys don't mind, I would like to do a little ad roll for our sponsor who's helping us fund this beautiful conversation. Is that cool, everyone?
Let's
Most definitely.
go.
All right. So when you're feeling uncomfortable, Khalil, guess what? We've got something that makes you feel more comfortable.
Falling asleep with your head in the wrong position is a pain in the neck. You deserve Tausi Comfort for head, neck, and back support. Go to tausibrands.com and get your comfort on.
There we go. I'm pointing to it. I'm pointing to it. I'm pointing to it.
Wait, hold on. I'm actually using it.
Yes, yes.
I need to, Tulsi.
We need to. I got you. But shout out, Telsey. Thank you so much for being a proud sponsor of this episode. That it's providing comfort, and you're doing so many amazing things in the world. But with that said, guys, thank you so much to the audience. Connect with one another. We will be back in the next few weeks with another stellar person, and I'm so excited. Again, reach out to one another, connect, and use LinkedIn the best way possible. If you don't know how to use it, go ahead and give us a shout out. We all know how to use and network for greater impact. Love you guys. Stay blessed. Walk in kindness, and we love you. Till next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and follow us for the next episode.